Right, so Tommy Fury is now out of his scheduled bout against Jake Paul. He's being replaced at late notice, might I add, by a certain Tyron Woodley in the rematch that nobody asked for. Let's talk about it before we do. My name's Rahul J. Chan, this is the Battle Camp. Thank you very much for joining me. If you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. So yeah, first and foremost, Tommy Fury has pulled out. He not only is injured, he also suffered from an illness. So in a video that he posted yesterday on Instagram, I believe, he said that he had a bacterial chest infection. I don't know if he's fully recovered from that, but he definitely has had it in the last couple of weeks. And he also sustained a broken rib sparring. Because of those two reasons, he's not able to fight in little under 2 weeks on December the 18th. So he's had to pull out. And surprisingly, at late notice, Tyron Woodley has managed to grab the opportunity that he's been crying for since he lost to Jake Paul the first time round. And he has got the rematch that he has wanted for the last couple of months. Now, my reaction to Tommy Fury, first and foremost, dropping out, to be honest with you, I was disappointed. I feel a bit dirty saying this, but there was a part of me that was looking forward to seeing what happens in this fight. I was interested to see how this plays out. And like I said to you, I do kind of feel a little bit dirty admitting that, but what I'd feel more dirty about is lying and pretending that I don't care about this fight and pretending that it doesn't interest me. And the reason why this fight did interest me, a fight between Tommy Fury and Jake Paul, that is because we haven't seen Jake Paul in there with someone that is a similar size to him and someone that has a similar level of experience boxing that he does. Because obviously he has fought combat sports athletes in the past, but these guys are undersized in comparison to Jake Paul. And also they don't have a lot of experience training boxing specific to boxing, if that makes sense, because they have been training boxing obviously as part of their regime as mixed martial artists, but the boxing that they'd be training is boxing technique that works in the realms of the cage or the octagon, basically in the mixed martial arts arena. And I don't know how much of what they knew translates to what they try to do against Jake Paul when they actually managed to, well, nothing Ben Askren knew or tried to do translated to an actual boxing match because of how that played out. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I was just interested to see how Jake Paul fares against someone that has a similar level of experience. Aside from that, the press conference that they had a week or so ago, about a week ago, when John Fury went off the rails and started saying all manner of derogatory things to Jake Paul, that also excited me a little bit more for this fight. And I don't know why. I honestly don't know why, because I always take stuff that people like John Fury say with a pinch of salt, but I just found it entertaining. And when you're entertained, for me, that kind of, like, you know, sucks me in, pause, for these kinds of circus events, you know. So now that Tommy Fury is out, I do need to say well done to Jake Paul, because Jake Paul taking this rematch against Tyron Woodley, he literally has nothing to gain, right? The reputation, and I totally admit I don't know much about Jake Paul. And the only reason I know anything about Jake Paul is because he stepped into this combat sports world, right? Because he's been boxing. He's had things to say about Dana White, to Dana White. He's getting more and more kind of involved in the MMA side of things in terms of the business of MMA and commenting on different, you know, stories or news events in the sport, right? But the only reason I'm aware who Jake Paul is because of that. And aside from that, the perception that I've got of someone like Jake Paul is they do things for attention because that's what garners them their audience to be social media stars, influencers, or whatever you want to call Jake Paul. Like, I don't really know what his main skill set is. I think he's just like I think he started off on YouTube just blogging and stuff, right? And God knows, like me personally, I've been doing these videos for years, and it's very disheartening when you put a lot of effort in a video, sitting here recording and talking and editing and posting and whatnot, and you look back and it's been 3 days and you've got 47 views. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not having a go, or I'm not kind of I'm not saying looking down on Jake Paul for doing things for attention, for clout, as the kids say, because that translates into views, and that's the world that we live in at the moment. But the point I'm trying to make is, beating Tyron Woodley, he got clout off the back of that the first time around. Doing it again, I don't know what there is to gain from that in terms of the world that he operated. He still does half operate in this social media world where he goes on Twitter, he goes on Instagram, and he trolls people. That's how this fight with Tommy Fury came about. It started off with Jake Paul and Tommy Fury going back and forth on social media. That's how the fight with Ben Askren came about, with them two going back and forth on social media, right? But he's already conquered that mountain in the shape of Tyron Woodley. So there's nothing extra to gain from beating him again, right? So I suppose I do kind of look at the fact that Jake Paul has agreed to take this fight against Tyron Woodley, and I respect it. I respect the fact that he's fighting him again, because he doesn't have to. And like I said, there's nothing, I can't see what there is to gain. From Tyron Woodley's point of view, he has tried to get this rematch, and I can't even remember when the first time they fought was. I want to say it was kind of June, July time, but I'm just going to check on what Wikipedia. When was it? Jake Paul, August. Yeah, so August 29th they fought the first time. And ever since then, Tyron Woodley has been trying his level best to get this rematch booked. And every step of the way, I've had no interest in seeing that fight happen again. And I've had no positive reaction to Tyron Woodley's antics online in trying to make this fight happen. I've not seen a single call out that Tyron Woodley has done that has made me want to see this fight again. I have not seen a single statement that Tyron Woodley has made that has made me think that Tyron Woodley is not delusional. And he's got unlucky. He has got unlucky by Tommy Fury getting injured and this opportunity falling in his lap. Because believe you me, I don't feel like he has done anything, and The Rock means anything, to justify this rematch off his own back in terms of his performance in the ring the first time they fought, and his approach to trying to get any interest in a rematch on social media post the original fight. So he's just got to thank his lucky stars in terms of how all of this has played out. But what are we going to see different from him in the ring? Because I was listening to Brian Campbell and I always get this wrong. Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell, no, I got it right actually, on Morning Combat yesterday, and they were talking about how Tyron Woodley's really got to go for it, and he's going to come in and be more aggressive this time, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know whether they actually believe that, or whether they were just being cognizant of the fact that they work for Showtime, and they can't, poo-poo this idea of this rematch blatantly, because they work for the same platform that are going to be asking for people to put their hands in their pockets and spend money on the pay-per-view in just under 2 weeks' time, right? But I can't... All I can see is Tyron Woodley coming in there, giving us a flat performance, and then getting on the mic saying, I didn't have long to prepare. This is what I was able to do on 2 weeks' notice. Imagine if I had a full training camp, you'd be flat on your back, blah, blah, blah. Excuse. Delusion, blah, delusion, blah. Drops mic. That's what I see happening with Tyron Woodley facing Jake Paul. I don't know, man. I've lost faith in Tyron Woodley. Come in here, because I've been following Tyron Woodley for literally the last 10, 12, like when did he fight in Strike? Well, I first became aware of him in Strikeforce, right? And that was back in 2011 is when I first came across him, because I remember when he beat Tarek Saffiedine, and I remember when he beat Paul Daly after that. So 10 years I've been following, 10 and a half years I've been following this guy. Well, it's come out to 12 years actually, because he beat Tarek Saffiedine in January. So the point is, like, I've been following this guy for so long, right? And I've seen him make excuses, tell us why he's going to be bigger, badder, stronger the next time, and then turn in a performance that doesn't reflect the words that he said prior to the fight. And his own analysis of a fight that has just happened, to me, doesn't really orbit reality very closely a lot of the time, or my perception of reality. So I just feel like I don't care anymore, man. I don't care about Tyron Woodley and his... I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad if he's making a lot of money, I'm glad, right? Because by all accounts, these guys are jumping into these kind of events, boxing, or be it boxing with the Pauls, or be it kind of Triller, Triad boxing, or whatever it is. They're doing these events and they're getting paid. So fair play, man. Get your money. But I don't care, man. I honestly don't care about this fight. I would have much preferred if they just postponed the Tommy Fury fight and rebooked it for February, March, or whatever, or however long Tommy Fury needs to recover. But yeah, I suppose final thoughts. Bit pissed off that the fight's not happening in December, the original fight. Hats off to Jake Paul for taking this late notice replacement in Tyron Woodley, because like I said, there's no clout, there's nothing to gain from beating him again. He's got more to lose should he lose. And will Tyron Woodley prove me wrong? Will Tyron Woodley actually go in there and fight this time? Who knows? But yeah, put your thoughts below. Let me know what you think about the stuff that I've said. Let me know what you think about this fight, this new fight, or the original fight. What would you prefer to have happened next? Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I will catch you guys in the next video.